The tables may have just turned at the Madlanga Commission. For months, we've watched Ian Cameron and Darlene James demand accountability, challenge police officials, and ask some very tough questions. But today, the spotlight shifts. We're turning the camera around and showing you a powerful moment when Ian Cameron confronted General Masemola face to face and made one thing clear. This committee is not a based court. It deals with facts. But here's where things get even more interesting. IDAC allegedly had already drawn Cameron into a particular narrative against Masemola. Now we return to the Madlanga Commission, where fresh testimony is raising some uncomfortable questions about what Cameron and James may have known while these events were unfolding. But I'm not here to tell you what to believe. We're going to put the evidence on the table, and you can decide for yourself.
Welcome to elaborate on it. I am careful to put pressure in terms of timelines. I think a lot of time has passed on this investigation that can be detrimental to it. And I must caution, and I want to say this very directly, I must caution people that are finding people guilty by social media. I've been reading some of the posts and things being shared. And I think it's important that even though there was a bigger slip-up regarding a very serious slip-up is actually the wrong term to use. I think it's a disaster, to be blatantly honest, but I think now it can be detrimental to people that weren't necessarily involved. And we need to allow the law to take its course. But nevertheless, we will do that. Later on, we are then going to focus on matters that arose from a previous session regarding crime intelligence. There, I would like us to also stick to facts. And I want to remind members of the committee that this is not a kangaroo court committee, and I don't want it to be treated as such. If something is brought forward, it must be factual and it must be relevant to the discussion. And then lastly, we will then zoom in on the matters of gang violence. I would like to, before I give an opportunity to Dia Matale as well as the National Commission of Police, please ask that we...
The political killings task team is funded from there, which is mainly from a Vispol division, when they say. It never used funds from crime intelligence or from the civil services account. However, members that are part of the political task team that are crime intelligence members, obviously they cannot go and use money from next door. They will use their own resources in terms of budget and in terms of vehicles, whether they are from open account or whatever, but they will use what is from their component. But the rest of the team, that is your detective and the combat teams that are part of the political killings task team. Those that say they were using money from the civil services account is a blue lie.
I'm beginning to question the role that this committee plays. And the input from SAPS is extremely concerning, Chairperson. On the 5th of March, I asked a handful of questions. We are now in April. They are still not answered. The fact that these generals before us, who are supposedly accountable to this committee, are refusing to answer to this committee is very worrying. And I'm not referring to the purchasing of those hotels with our tax monies. I'm referring to very simple questions. I'm referring to the issue of security clearances. But let me spill the bag right here. Only one police commissioner in this country has a valid security clearance. It's the commissioner from the Northern Cape. No one else does. As a matter of fact, the DivCom of crime intelligence had a security clearance, but it wasn't a valid one. It was cooked. He now has a valid one. But the PCs in general shouldn't be in their positions. Now, Chairperson, this brings me to a very serious query. Do these people belong on this committee? Anything that they've signed off can be questioned. Any decision that they've ever taken can be overturned on the simple basis that they don't have the valid security clearance to be in the position to be operating there, as per the Satoli report. Now, I'm going to move on from that, Chairperson, and ask of this committee, is it okay to have generals lie to us Because we were told that all SR-funded vehicles were removed from management and given to operational duty. That wasn't true, because the DivCom, General Madondo, and General Shaba are still driving SR-funded vehicles to this day. It was a blatant lie.
Thank you, Honorable Adams. General Masemola, over to you.
Thanks, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable members. In response, I think, Honorable Chair, maybe you give us time that we come with the whole list of whoever have security clearance and who not. Yes, within the senior management, there are those that don't have, those that either they did not submit their necessary documents. So in that regard, action is being taken, and as I talk now, I issued directive that all the 800 plus SMS members, those that don't have, because it's not to say the whole 800 don't have, those that don't have they've been given time that by so date you must have submitted all the outstanding documents, and so that we can vet them, and the target for crime intelligence rating this year is 1,500, and the SMS we have 840 something. So they will be able to finish the whole SMS in terms of vetting this current year, Honorable Chair. With regard to the security clearance of General Madondo, I'm sure the General Kumalo will talk more on that, Honorable Chair. But I expect Honorable Adams not to select facts, that whenever he gets facts, he should get it proper, because the facts that he's putting forward are not complete, and I wouldn't know why would he choose not to get all the facts. Honorable Chair, Major General Madondo was convicted of an assault, not alone as a team, somewhere some 15, 20 years ago, when he was still a sergeant. In the course of their duty, they were convicted for an assault, and they were given whatever sentence they were supposed to be given. And as I said, Honorable Chair, I'm saying it's more than 15, 20 years when she was still a sergeant, of which after that, she has been promoted many times, and she did get security clearance also, and which expired. So now that when she applied for security clearance now, and then the point is raised that you were convicted some 20 years ago of an assault of somebody that was arrested, whereas between now and then she did have a security clearance. The same people that are doing the security clearance, there is a bit of a question: how can they come to that determination? General Khan, security clearance also, there were issues of questionable about the issue of a safe house. Hence, the divisional commissioner said that the security clearance of these two will not be done here in the crime intelligence, because already there's a problem. He referred the security, the two to be vetted by SSA, so that there is pure independence in both matters. Because, hence I said, I would have understood if Honorable Adams says Madondo, after he was a sergeant, he was promoted to a warrant officer. Somewhere in life, she did have a security clearance. Somewhere in life, she became a captain, she became a lieutenant colonel, she became a colonel, up to where she is, Honorable Chair. And it's quite interesting also from those that were doing the vetting, then to go and raise that matter which they didn't raise before. But I think it's fair that both this security clearance for the two officials have been referred to somebody else to deal with that matter. But as I said, Honorable Chair, we will come with the full list of
I would like to encourage you to thus make sure that when you engage in the committee, it is focused on the actual agenda and that you are not exposing the very handlers that are feeding you with certain bits and pieces of information.
I don't know the handler, Chair.
You clearly do, Honourable Adams, because you are driving a very specific agenda with very specific names. So it does seem that there are specific handlers instructing you, and you can differ from me. That's 100%. But there's a very, very clear agenda being driven, and I'm not gonna allow the committee to become a kangaroo court.
I can accuse you of being handled by the national.
Honourable Adams, thank you. I haven't acknowledged you, Honourable Adams. It's not a personal attack. I'm saying that there are handlers feeding you with information. How you see them or what you want to call them is up to you.
And you are being handled by the NASCOM.
I'm not being handled by anyone, Honourable Adams. You are out of order. I haven't acknowledged you. I'm tired of your interruptions and the rude comments that you...
Wait a minute. What was Ian Cameron saying here? This is not a biased court. Everything must be based on facts. Fair enough. But now we need to take a step back, because there's something the public watching that meeting may not have known at the time. What did Cameron know while General Masemola was sitting there answering those tough questions? Where does Darlene James come into the picture? Let's go back to the Madlanga Commission and follow the evidence to see what really happened behind the scenes.
At page 5, did Advocate Johnson say why the National Commissioner should be left to lie? What was the plan, the idea behind let him go lie to Parliament and then what?
Like I said in statement 1, Commissioners, it looked and obviously became evident that there was a line of march, and that line of march was to get General Kumalo and General Masemola in an accused box. And so obviously there was, at some point there was talk about if he lies at portfolio committee, but this is well after. I think this is in February or March, and this was just between Padiachi and myself and Mr. Perumal, where if he lies, we can at least charge him for perjury.
He would have lied to a committee of Parliament, which in itself is an offence.
So the plan was to set him up.
In essence, it was. That was the instructions. Don't tell him, let him go and lie.
So that he can be arrested and charged.
Ask you, so when the committee members, the members of the Portfolio Committee on Policing that we know so far would be Mr. Adams, Ms. James, and Mr. Cameron.
Correct.
And I just want to refer you to page 2820, which is in file 7, which is an affidavit by Mr. Ian Cameron. You let me know once you have it. Page 2820.
Thank you.
It's an affidavit by Mr. Ian Cameron, and if you go to page 2820, it was deposed and commissioned on the 9th of April 2025 in Cape Town by Mr. Brian Padiachi.
Confirm.
Okay. And just to give context, Mr. Cameron says at page 2820 that paragraph 4, I, together with members of my committee, are primarily responsible for oversight to ensure effective law enforcement within SAPS. And then at 5, he says, as chairperson, I convened a portfolio committee meeting on Wednesday, 2025-04-02, online with members of the committee, senior managers from the Office of the Minister of Police and senior management of the SAPS, led by General Masemola. And he sets out certain events in there, but then I want you to go to 2821, paragraph 8, he says some committee members were not satisfied with the SAP's management responses. However, in the absence of factual evidence, I intervened and closed the agenda point and moved to the next item on the agenda. Then at paragraph 10, which should actually be paragraph 9, importantly, he says, I suspect that the senior management of the SAPs, led by General Masemola, misled the portfolio committee in answer to several questions posed to them. To confirm exactly where the committee was misled, it will be prudent for the committee's recording of the meeting to be compared with the evidence available in the relevant crime intelligence files. So from what he seems to be saying in here is that General Masemola and whoever was in that committee meeting from SAPS had effectively misled, lied to the committee. And we know now from your notes on page 5 at file 11 that Advocate Johnson said you mustn't tell the National Commissioner about the investigation. Let him lie to the committee. He'll be caught in a lie. And Mr. Cameron was one of the committee members who was engaging with IDAC at the time and knew that there was an investigation at the time, correct?
From this affidavit and from the notes, correct.
I want him to validate it by me mentioning the following. He mentioned that there are 7 police stations that are hard hit by drugs and gangs. Of the 7 police stations that has been mentioned, I think I have visited 5 of them. Let me just give you an example. And he says that things are under control. Ravensmead police station, right? Things are under control. There's no printer in the firearm control office. The Visbol, there's only 3 vehicles to service 5 sectors. Things are under control. The detectives has to use their personal cell phones because there's no telephone lines, right? Each detective right now, as things stand, has a caseload of over 537 dockets, right? Of a team of 18 officers who only has access to about 12 vehicles. Things are under control. Also, I can carry on with Mitchell's playing with Elsie's, with Kleinvlei, where you don't even have a proper station where the members are entering. It is a small space. There's no rooms to even interview your suspects at that police station. Then secondly, in the report now, I just read that the Western Cape Commissioner boldly states that SAPS is not responsible for school dropouts. I want to ask the Western Cape Commissioner if he has gone through the training of the Children's Act and if he is aware of the equal duty between SAPS and between DSD for children that are of the age and 14, and if he is aware of the national instruction that speaks to their duty as SAPS that he's now saying that he is not responsible for. So meaning all of these children that are loitering, where we have a constitutional right that says that all children must be in school, SAPS does not see those children as being at risk and in urgent need of care and protection. How can he make a statement saying that SAPS is not responsible? We do recognize the other departments responsible, such as your DSD, but SAPS has a role to play as per their national instruction. Also, I think, Chair, you covered me on the situation with the dogs. I've gone through the strategy. Now, in the Western Cape, and especially in these areas where the 7 hard-hit police stations has been identified, the strategy doesn't speak anything about the Pela Pos. In Gauteng, we call it the Lolly Lounge. A Pela Pos, which serves as a recruitment home, a haven for gangsters and to recruit youngsters, the ones that he says they're not responsible for. What's your strategy? And how many of these Pela Posas have you raided, and what has been your interventions? But I suppose it's nothing because your strategy doesn't mention it. I also want to ask the National Drug Master Plan, supply reduction, which is part of their 5 objectives, supply reduction, which is, I think, pillar number 2, which is a direct mandate for SAPS. We are meant to have a SAPS representative serving on your local drug action committee. And I would like to think in the municipalities where those police stations are, you would have a representative from SAPS. I want to ask the Western Cape Commissioner, do you have a representative from those communities that is serving on your local drug action committee that can send through the information to your provincial substance abuse forum, where would it find expression at the Central Drug Authority? I also want to ask, you say that, you know what, community participation and collaboration is very important. I want to ask, are you informing and are you conducting programs in these hard hit communities, informing them, since we have not only a narcotics and a drug problem, we also have abuse of alcohol that leads to many other problems and social ills. Is your communities aware of the fact that every police station is meant to have a liquor officer that is meant to conduct programs in these communities, informing the communities of their rights in terms of when there's possible establishment of liquor outlets in these communities, these people can actually object to it. They have 7 days to write to the liquor board, and they are able to engage with the liquor officer, because these are communities that are hard hit by substance abuse, which includes alcohol. So if you are saying things are under control, I would like to think that all the avenues that is at your disposal is actually being given to the community, and the communities are being empowered. I also want to say, prison raids. We know that in the Western Cape, right? The Western Cape ranks, we've known this for many years, right? The Western Cape ranks number 1. So for me, I don't find peace, and I don't have sort of...
Was there any further information? Did you know what evidence, documentary evidence she had, and where she had obtained that evidence?
I was informed in the meeting that Ms. James also received an envelope under the door with top secret documentation and confidential documents and information about these things.
An information note?
And an information note, yeah.
And the documentary evidence that she had received that was also slipped under her door related to this aspect only, or was there something else that it related to as well?
If I may just clarify, Ms. James never came to IDAC. She did not, I was asked to wait until at least, I think it was 5:30 or 6 o'clock. And then I went home, showered, and then I had to come back for the forklift witness. So she didn't answer Mr. Perumal's calls, and she did not come through. But later on, if I'm not mistaken, it was somewhere in February or early March.
Yes, that's also some of the documentation that must still be disclosed. Yes.
Mr. Perumal sends me a WhatsApp. It's a very concerning WhatsApp because it is marked top secret on the top, and it is the security risk and assessment of Mr. Ian Cameron. The message below that, and it's both pages, that was sent to me via WhatsApp. And the second paragraph, or the typed paragraph on that, is, it makes sense why the Action SA lady didn't come. I'm paraphrasing because I don't have it in front of me.
Yes, we will deal with this aspect in full, Chair, once the documentation is available, and I can foresee that there's potentially a further statement that will be required. But for now, we can just deal with it on this level, because there are some serious aspects flowing from that as well that we'd need to explore. But for now, we're just dealing with what the briefing was, and that there was potentially a further witness that was going to provide that information. Was Ms. James was the intention that she was going to be a witness, or that she was also going to do a Section 27 affidavit, or would it form part of this? From
the presentation, it's clear that Mr. Perumal had indicated or had intended on filing her affidavit and her documents in the existing Fadiel Adams dockets, and she would then become a witness.
Okay.
Did she ever file an affidavit, Ms. James?
Not with IDAC.
Do you know if she filed with IPID?
I was informed later that she did in fact choose to go to IPID versus IDAC.
That was part of the WhatsApp that Mr. Perumal sent you to say this is why she didn't come to us or something like that?
Correct.
Yes. And did Mr. Perumal say where he got that information from, the top secret information from?
No, he did not indicate. And at that point of our relationship or working relationship, there was a lot of